Welcome to your favorite podcast, Bioethics. In this episode, we are going to discuss exploring the ethics of biotechnology. I'm your host, Kaori, and these are my friends, Valentina.
Fernanda.
Maffer.
And in this thought-provoking podcast series, we delve into the fascinating world of biotechnology and examine the ethical implications that arise from its rapid advancements.
Biotechnology has revolutionized the way we interact with the living world, from genetic engineering and gene editing to synthetic biology and personalized medicine. It has the potential to transform our lives, tackle diseases, and address pressing global challenges.
In this episode of Bioethics, we will explore the ethical dimensions of various biotechnological advancement, inviting experts from diverse fields to share their perspectives. We will discuss the moral implication of altering the very building blocks of life, the potential consequences of manipulating ecosystems, and the ethical boundaries of human enhancement and genetic selection.
Remember that our podcast aims to stimulate thoughtful conversation and go faster and deeper understanding the ethicals of biotechnology. We can face by scientists, policymakers, and society as a whole. We will navigate the gray areas, questioning where the line between progress and potential harm should be drawn, and how we can ensure that biotechnology serves the greater good without compromising our values.
Together, we will explore the challenges of maintaining privacy and consent in the era of genomic data and personalized medicine. We will discuss the ethical considerations surrounding the use of biotechnology in agriculture and its impact on food security and sustainability. We will also examine the potential social and economic disparities that may arise from an inequality distribution of biotechnological advances. Bioethics is a podcast for anyone who is curious about the intersection of biotechnology and ethics. Whether you are a student, a professional in the field, or simply someone intrigued by the ethical implications of scientific progress, this podcast will provide you with valuable insights and thought provoking discussions.
So let's go ahead and join us in this journey. We will explore the frontiers of biotechnology and reveal the ethical increases and consider the implications for our present or future. We will always discuss these kind of things in this podcast, so follow us. Hey guys, so to start this podcast, I want to ask you to my partners, what do you guys think about transgenic animals or food? You think it's healthy? You think that when you eat um, these foods will give you the the benefits that they should give as normal, or you think it changed something at your food? What do you guys think?
Okay, so for that, I think that all of that kind of food doesn't provide all the same vitamins and the same all that stuff. I think it doesn't provide the same as the natural ones like years ago where it wasn't genetically changed and yeah, I think the food nowadays is more different and it's more of consuming like an amount of food that considering on taking the vitamins that are on each one on and yeah, that kind of stuff.
But you really think that the changes for your food makes a difference? Like for example, if you put the transgenic food, I think that it can have, I mean, it should have a study after the consuming. So I think, and the before, of course. So I think that, I mean, maybe they're not gonna give the same benefits, but I don't think that it's dangerous for you. I mean, it's not that good, but I don't think that it could be a dangerous way.
Okay, so Vale, what do you think about it? I think that is dangerous because um
Um, it can appearance of new allergies, create creation of new toxins, fertility problems, affectation of the immune and hormonal systems, and I think that that can be the consequences of that.
Yeah, I think the same because I think it's not like as healthiest, and I think like as we as human beings, like from naturally, I think we're not used to that kind of process, so it takes a lot, and we have to get used to it, and yeah, we have to evolutionate into taking that kind of substances and everything that they put on.
But for me, I think, like, my opinion does as I said, my bad, about the food, but I was talking about fruits and things. But I completely think differently when we're talking about animals. I think to animals is way big the difference between what we're eating, because in the new farms they give like a lot of new genetic things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that it's a biggest deal because they like inject the animals.
The hormones.
Yeah, the
They inject their
hormones.
hormones, and I think that they recombine DNA techniques, and I think that's more dangerous, not just for the humans, to
But
the
for the
animals.
animals,
To,
yeah, it's not good.
Sometimes we just think about humans, but we don't think about the animals, what they feel, or how
Yeah.
they're gonna react about
Yeah, what they're
this.
going through in that
Yeah.
process. And also about the fruits, I think the only thing that it's more that unhealthiest in I don't know, in the vegetables or plants or that kind of stuff. I think it's more of about the pesticides that they put on and all that stuff, so that like little bugs don't get into the plague and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think sometimes the humans are really egocentrics. I don't know.
Egocentric.
Egocentrics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
and
they
we
only
don't.
think about
Yeah,
themselves.
we just think about the healthy of humans beings, but we don't never think about the animals, because we just give them food so they can be fat, and then
We can eat more
we
of them.
can, yeah, and
Yeah.
it's more contamination. It's more CO, yeah,
CO2.
CO2, and I think that's in the way of the healthy, it's not good, but in the way of talking about contamination in the world, it's worse.
Yeah, in the ethical way.
In the ethical way, yeah.
Okay, so Muffer, yeah.
Well, about the food, I think that it could affect our health in the future, and that is not as healthy as natural food, or simply that is not so processed. Um, I feel that, as my partner Vale said, it can cause allergies and things like that.
Yeah, 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 I agree with you.
Yeah, to change this topic, I want to talk you about Valentina and me. The last day we saw a series about a cloning, and it was really interesting because you can see the ethical problem in there. But I don't think any of that is good. Like cloning, why will you clone someone? Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah.
I think it's very um,
Weird? You think it's very weird?
yeah, because for example, imagine that you are walking in the street, and
And you see your
and you,
clone.
yeah,
That would be really
Yeah.
creepy.
And that will be freaking like, where do you?
Yeah,
That's me. Like,
because imagine if you don't have their consent for that, and they experiment
yeah,
with your
that-
DNA.
That was about the series. They didn't have the consent, and they didn't know about each other cloning. So it was so weird to see. I don't even know if that's possible in real life. But dude, I think about that and I said, why would you do that?
Yeah, man,
The
no.
cloning reasons. You're talking about their dignity, their individually. It's just crazy. It changed totally the challenge of our traditional understanding, like of our natural reproduction and the uniqueness of each individual. It's just crazy. I just think it's a
Yeah,
really bad
what,
thing.
where's the ethic in that, you know?
Yeah, there's no
It's
ethic.
really weird, no.
Yeah. And not in animal and humans. Now think about animals. It's really cruel doing that to animals. Like we,
Yeah, like the experiment they did in a sheep like years ago,
yeah,
where they
yeah,
cloned
yeah,
it and the sheep died
yeah.
like they like days or hours after. I don't remember, but it was crazy. And imagine like you're an animal and you don't have the consciousness to know what the humans are doing with you, and they start experimenting with you.
They just increase the suffering and the disregarding of the well-being. It's just awful. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
we
think
don't
s-
support that idea.
No,
No.
I don't.
Well, I think exactly the same. Why would you clone someone? Um, if at some point you find a copy of you, it would be too rare.
Yeah, it will be weird. Like we
Yeah.
said before. Yeah, it's not ethic.
As you, as listeners, you can tell us what you think about this topic in the comments and in the animal
Yeah.
transgenics too. You can always tag us in our Instagrams. We're gonna go into a little short of commercials. So let's see you back.
Yeah. Thank you.
Wash, the best feeling and smelling body wash that you can find. This video is sponsored by Native Body Wash. Do you want to smell good? I hope you said yes. Well, I hope you didn't actually say yes out loud, because I can't hear you. You're talking to a screen. You look dumb. But it's also kind of my fault, because I asked the question. So, it's 50% my fault. Don't hold that against me. So, Native Body Wash. I lean towards minimalism when it comes to my personal care products. The cleaner and more simple the ingredients are when it comes to that kind of stuff, the better for me. Native does those things well, while also having a ton of really quality scents to pick from. My favorite scent? Well, it's a tie between lavender and rose and coconut and vanilla. These two bad boys right here, huh? Bad boys. You've been bad, lavender and rose, haven't you? I'm sorry. Now, I alternate between these two, not because I'm indecisive and I like them both so much, but rather because I like to keep people on their toes. What's Dylan smell like? Is he lavender and rosy today? Nope, he's coconutty. Okay, let me be serious. I want to smell good throughout the day. That's my goal. And the reason I said yes to a brand deal with Native Body Wash when they approached me is because it's what I use. Their scents are like the perfect mix between not being overpowering while also being able to stick with you like the entire day. You're gonna smell good all day. It's got like a real nice lathery finish. It feels good when you're applying it to your skin, and you can apply it straight out of the bottle to your skin. I use a little thing called a buff puff. Don't worry about it. It's kind of like a little loofah type thing where it gets all sudsy. It gets nice and a lot of bubbles, right? And it makes me feel cleaner when I'm cleaning myself with bubbles. Also reminds me of my childhood a little bit. I don't dig into my psychology, but I think that's why I like it. If you want to smell good yourself, just use my code. DIT. 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 You want to smell good? Just DIT. I'll leave a link down below. You get 20% off your first order, so you get to save yourself a few smackaroons while also picking up a really good product. Thank you to Native for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to Captain America.
Okay, now I would like to talk about profits and privacy. Who do you think owns your genes? Could someone else use the information in your genes? What do you think?
I think that that topic is really crazy because you're not talking about your technology information. We're talking about your genes. It's really crazy thinking that, for example, the government have your genes. Of course they do, but why? What they do with them? Like,
Yeah,
That's the question,
and
right?
why, you know? It's like
Why would you want my genes for? Like,
Yeah,
what do you wanna do with
and
them?
what right does they have? Do they have to have my genes? You know,
Yeah,
it's like
crazy.
yeah, my genetic information it's mine, and in the government it's just I believe the government is just there to like guide us in stuff like that, not in having our genetic information for I don't know cloning.
Yeah, in my tripping thoughts, I think like when I'm thinking about that, I go crazy about that because think we're talking about your genes. For example, in USA, the Air Force they use their genes, of course, but that government's so crazy. Like they could be making experiments, or I don't know what would do with your genes, like experiments, or for the vaccine or something like that, like use them or something, like why, like do you have the rights, like did I say, like I didn't,
Yeah,
I
and you didn't approve, and they
Yeah,
do
I
it when
didn't
you're a
approve
baby,
it.
so you don't have
Yes,
like, your
it's
opinion
crazy.
at that age.
Yeah, it's really crazy
Yeah.
because we're talking about, again, we're talking about your genes. It's something that you can replace. What do you think?
I think that when we think in that, we I always ask, what is the purpose of having them? Because it's like
Yeah, why do they want it for?
yeah. Um,
Like, you think they could do experiments or something? It's crazy. Like, I just think it's something going into your
Your privacy.
your private.
It's your body.
It's dearly
It's-
to your privacy.
Yeah, it's literally you. Like why? Like why?
Like why?
Like why? That's the only question.
It's
Why?
why? My final question to this topic is why.
Yeah,
Why do you
literally.
need them?
Literally,
What do you
yeah.
think?
I think it would be strange to imagine that someone else has my genes. As you said, how would they have them? I wouldn't want someone else to have them. I wouldn't want someone else to use them.
Yeah, but why not? Why not? Explain yourself. Why not? Well, okay, I think like why not? I think because I think it's my privacy, it's my right, and it's my body, and you know all those movements about like your body, your everything. I
Yeah,
think
but
that
what
i-
about my genes?
e-
They're still my
exactly,
body.
Exactly, yeah, about that. What do you think, Bali, about
But
it?
the worst thing is that we don't know when they use them.
Yeah, and we don't
How
actually.
could you know they use them and what they use them for?
Yeah, and they have it, and they say like, yeah, we're not gonna use it, but like, how do I know you're not gonna use them, and why do you have them? It's like
And the purpose of use them, like what, like you're gonna need them for do, I don't know, a new vaccine, for example. Why
Yeah.
would you need them?
no, and that it's not that bad because they can say like, yeah, we're gonna use it for making a vaccine or
Yeah,
anything
but
else,
That's
but
the good. That's a good option. But imagine we're gonna do a bio. How do you say when you're gonna do una arma? Arma
a weapon,
biológica? Biological weapon?
bio weapon.
I don't know. I don't know how do you say. But it's crazy. Like you can totally use my genes to do that.
Yeah, but
Would you?
they shouldn't.
But they shouldn't. But how do you know about it?
Use your genes for making a weapon. Like I've never heard of that actually.
No, but like for experiment, like if it works,
Yeah.
it could work. I don't know.
Yeah, and this is not only about cloning, you know, but because our technology is not that far. Like, yeah, we're gonna clone, and we're making a lot of clones around the world. Well, we actually don't know if that's gonna happen, but as far as we know, that's not as possible, you know, because all the experiments that they have been doing in the last years, they haven't give us like an answer of, yeah, we're cloning and we know how to clone and that, but it's, you know, like Fernanda said, like it's about they can use it about weapons or about, you know, making a disease or or
it's
yeah
just crazy.
yeah so
So yeah.
so fingerprinting and that kind of stuff, what do you think about it?
Oh, that's another interesting topic because they can use it. They used to use just the finger because you can identify a person with a fingerprint.
Yeah, with
But now it
And
changed.
it's the fingerprinting. I think it's okay because, you know, for official documents,
Documents.
like if you get arrested or if you get in that kind of trouble, that I think that's kind of okay. You know, because we
I
live in
think
a
it's totally okay. But for example, in a criminal scene, they can use your
yeah, in the criminals.
fingerprint.
Yeah.
But now, like for example, they're using gloves. Now you can use nails, your
hair,
saliva.
yeah, and everything. You can use everything.
Well, I think it is a very interesting topic, and I must be honest. I find it fascinating that each person have a different fingerprinting, and um, that is why they can't differentiate you
Yeah, they can
between more people.
they can differentiate the people with the fingerprinting.
Yeah, it's interesting too, um, and they have a lot of advantage. For first of all, identify a person. I think that that facilitate that bueno, facilita.
Yeah,
Like,
that makes it easy.
Mm-hmm.
Easier.
And is this the safest thing that someone can have
To recognize,
to
to
recognize?
identify the person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really think that too. Now, to change our topic, I want to talk about health and medicine. With biotechnology, it's really cool how biotechnology. It's not now nowadays. It starts years ago,
Yes.
but
A lot of years of investigation.
yeah, years of
and
investigation.
experimenting.
Yeah, but with food too, like they used to treat, like for example, the plants to cure their patients, like that. But now I want to talk about like for example, you got a lesson in your, for example, me, I got a lesson in my knee, and they use biotechnology technically because they take one tissue from my other knee and then put it in my knee, my broken knee, in the stem cells. They took a little time to repair, and they
Regenerate.
to regenerate, yeah, and they make a new one. And that's crazy because you think, dude, years ago, that could never be happen.
yeah.
They used to put claves in your knee to make the, like, how I look, how I
Yeah, and
lose
even
my-
years ago, you could just stop walking.
and it was so hurt.
It hurt so bad.
it hurt- it
Yeah,
used to
a,
hurt so
and It was
bad.
a so slow
Yeah,
process.
it was a slower process. It was more dangerous and more. It hurt. It hurt so bad. But now I feel it so good. Like in my gene therapy, I feel it so good. Now it's more fast. How
The
do you
process?
the process. Yeah, the process.
Yeah,
and
and
it's just crazy.
Yeah, I think we all stand biotechnology because in that kind of medical use, it helps a lot to desire the to develop process and medicine, and like all these how do you say, como operaciones como,
Surgery.
and all the surgeries are more easier, and I think it's very helpful. But if you give it a great use, like positive, a good use,
Yeah,
I think
and
it's great.
treating disease, it's like you're saying, it was so cool. But like for example, the insulin, my bad, the insulin to treat the diabetes was blood cloning, like factors for
Hemophiliacs.
hemophilics
Hemophiliacs.
and human growth hormones, and that's crazy because you think now people with diabetes live their lives like normal life, and in past years they could die with diabetes.
Yeah, scientists are now trying to learn how to fix fault genes and people, and I think that's really great. Like how Fernanda said about her knee, it was like it's really interesting, and all the technology that it's used in that. I think wow, it's literally amazing how we develop it.
Okay. Well, suppose a couple wants to have a children. Could they find out if they are carrying an allele for a genetic disorder? Well, genetic tests are now available for diagnosing hundreds of different disorders. For example, the CF allele has slightly different DNA sequences than the normal allele. So, genetic tests use a piece of DNA that is complementary to a defective allele to find that allele. Other genetic tests search for changes in coding of sorry.
Restriction of enzymes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that is genetic testing.
Yeah.
Genetic testing is so cool too.
Yeah, I think this topic in general, like the one we're talking in the podcast, is really interesting, and wow, and we can really learn about it, and in general, biotechnology and all of that, it's really interesting.
Yeah, I really found this interesting too. Like the restriction and the enzymes they're used to cut the DNA. That's really interesting too. Like that's the process, but I found it so creepy and cool at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I believe that, yeah, it has revolutionized a lot over the years, and it seems incredible to me how you can improve so much with the simple fact of taking something. And if we start to think about the process getting to this medicine was somewhat complicated chemically speaking, and all the process to be able to get this medicine out and thus be able to improve in many ways seems to me like just impressing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good music to start our day, yeah?
Sorry, I forgot. But now we can say our conclusions. I think we can each one say a conclusion about the ethics in biotechnology, as we said. And my conclusion is that it has pros
In cons.
and cons, like everything. But I think there's more cons. Like in medicine, I think there are more pros. But in food, it's complicated.
It's cons because I think like as a society we consume a lot of food
Yeah, a
and
lot of
products and all of that, and I think it's useful for that, but at the same time it's not that cool,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that too. But I think biotechnology, it's not bad. It's with the food, not too. Like we don't have to satanize something, because sometimes we just see the bad things, but they're good things. You have to really look for them. But I think there still are. But in conclusion, I think they're more like it's the future. You can stop the future. The future is coming, and you can stop the new process they're doing or the new experiments. But I think it's not bad. I think for medicine, or if you use it for the right things, I think they're pros, of course.
Yeah, and I think at the end it's all
It depends.
yeah, it depends, but at the end most of the times at the end it's just for help the society, because
Yeah.
yeah, to live longer, to last longer, and all that is just to have more healthier habits and that.
Yeah, I think that we found some pros and
Cons.
because at the end I think that you are risking a life,
Yeah.
and that's not unethical.
You're not supporting that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think that biology and ethics are closely related, as um, biology involves the story of life and the ethical considerations that come with it. In conclusion, biology and ethics are two sides of the same coin. While biology provides us with the knowledge to understand and manipulate life, ethics guide us in using that knowledge in a responsible and sustainable manner.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and for my conclusion, like in a brief conclusion, because I already talked about it, I think that it's ethical if you use it in a good way, like in the kind of making more food in that kind of way. But in the part of the animals, it's not that cool. Well, from my point of view, at least, it's not that cool because the animals suffer and that kind of stuff, and that's why I'm actually trying to be a vegetarian. But from the other part of medicine and that, I think it's really interesting and it's really good, because we can last longer and we can develop better as a society and yeah.
Yeah. And there was all of this episode. If you like it, you can follow us on Spotify and see more of this content. We're gonna talk about biology topics as you already know. So yeah,
Yeah.
see you in the next episode.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening.
Bye.